Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Yevamos Kuf Tet. I want to discuss a little Agadah over here. The Gemara on Kuf Tet over here says, bring the pasuk. It says, there's a pasuk in Mishlei, Ra Yeroa Ki Arev Zar. Bad misfortune after misfortune will happen. Someone who is a guarantor to a stranger. So the Gemara and the pasuk continues. In Mishlei, this is from 11:15 in Mishlei. V'sonea tokim boteach. Someone who hates tokim, the article translate, but he who hates attachers will be secure. So there's three things the Gemara darshan in this pasuk, three bad things that are supposed to be avoided. One is you shouldn't be makabel gerim, for whatever reason the Gemara explains. Second reason, you shouldn't be an arev in a place where a guarantor on a loan, where they're going to collect from you first before coming to the debtor. And the third thing is, which is not quoted in the Gemara, but that's the end of the pasuk, "V'sonei tokim boteach." He who hates attach will be secure, meaning you should hate people who attach themselves. And what does it mean? The Gemara says, "Okay, atzmal dvar halacha." That's what it means. Someone who attaches himself to dvar halacha. And the Gemara says, Rabbi Yossi says, "Kol omer ein lo el Torah ein lo." The Gemara's maskana, "Kol omer Torah ein lo afilu Torah ein lo." Afilu Torah ein lo. Someone who says, I only have Torah, like the Gemara said, "Dokei atmal dvar halacha, afilu Torah ein lo." What's the reason? The Gemara says, "Amar Papa, Amar Kra, v'limatem v'asisim kol sheyeshnem v'asi yeshnem l'mida kol she'enem v'asi enem b'lamida." If you're doing the Torah, you're participating in the Torah, then you get the schar for your limud Torah. But the whole point, obviously, like the Gemara says in Kedushin, Gedola Torah is greater than just doing the mitzvahs, hearing a rabbi tell you what to do and do. It's greater to learn the Torah, because maybe they might say it'll bring you to accomplish the Torah and to live a life filled with Torah. You'll understand it better, presumably. So that's the reason. The reason given is because the purpose of learning Torah is to do everyone know. Makai, the Gemara in the Mishnah in Pirkei Yevamos, right? Alom namanas lelamed is much worse than alom namanas lishmar velasos, right? You're supposed to Makayim the Torah. That's the whole purpose of the Torah. So what is this thing? Why is it called Tokei Asmal Dvar Halacha? Now it's talking about Limud Torah. What's the connection to Dvar Halacha over here? I want to explain like this, that meaning someone's Tokei Asmal Dvar. Tokei means to stick yourself in a position, meaning stick yourself, like they say nowadays, the work of the Chareim is just sit and learn. That's what you're supposed to do. I heard the rabbi in the shul, one of the rabbis in the shul tell Stone, he said, the Gedolim have instructed us, and nowadays our avoda is to sit and learn. We just sit and learn. We go to the mirror in Yerushalayim. We sit and learn for the rest of our lives. I hear numerous people talk about this, that, extolling the virtues of people that just sit and learn. Like, it's almost like it's worse if the guy actually teaches Torah or becomes Rosh Hashiva or becomes a Ram, a Rosh Masifta, someone who gives a shir, or someone who, does something for sure, someone who takes part of his time to earn money, to have a job part-time, a real job, not just get a kol stipend. That's the worst in their eyes. I mean, the highest madrega, someone just sits and learns their whole lives, They talk so glowingly about people that just sit and learn. I mean, this is what the Gemara is talking about over here. Tokei atzmal dvar Torah. He just sits and learns. He sticks himself in the base medrash. Tokei atzmal dvar halacha. What's worse is when you're tokei atzmal dvar halacha. If the person is just learning daf yomi, right? He's learning the Gemara. He's not learning the halachas so much. So, it's not so bad. It teaches you how to think. You join Iyun with Benzion. I give you mahalach in terms of being able to make investigations in the Gemara. It teaches you how to think, to think clearly, which helps you ultimately learn halacha and apply halacha. But someone's tokei asmal dvar halacha, he's just sitting there. Omer nomo Torah, ein li ela Torah. I only have Torah. Meaning, I see this time and time again. People who sit in kolol for the rest of their lives, they can even learning Shulchan Aruch, Torah Shulchan Aruch. And maybe some of the halachas they do put into their lives, but, oftentimes they don't even know the halachas. If they do the halachas, I believe the Gemara is talking about a much vaster thing over here. Asiya is is joining the world. Because like my father said last night to me, he said, I don't know, some of these halachas, they're not practical, these halachas. Yevamos, there's nothing practical halachas. You're right, and Yevamos, maybe even if you go into the world, there's no practical halachas based on Abba Shol nowadays. But when you get to Seder Nezikin, Dinei Mamanis, and lots of ksuvos we're going to learn next, these things do apply. And when a person goes into the world and earns a parnasa and gets a job, and that's what the asiyah means. It doesn't mean to do the mitzvah. It doesn't mean I learned the halachas of lulav and esrog and I go shake lulav and esrog on Sukkot. That's not what we're talking about, I believe, in the Gemara over here. Believe the Gemara ain't la Torah. I'm just going to sit and learn. The whole purpose is just to learn Torah, and I'm not going to participate in the world. I'm not going to get a job. You have to get a job. You have to support your family. It's not a. I don't believe it's an option to sit in kollel, because everyone knows. I mean, unless you have like a tremendous Yerusha from your parents or someone's. Even the idea, if you have a Yerusha, okay, so it's your money. No one's going to tell you what to do with it. But even if people are, in-laws or parents are, helping you out and putting you up in a nice apartment or a modish goal, where you're paying, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000 shekel a month, and you're eating steak every night for dinner, and they're paying for your grand life, so you go to the Mir Yeshiva. This is not a way of living. I mean, eventually the money runs out, and even if it doesn't run out, you're always dependent on those other people. You have no own life. You're not chafsh. You're not free. You're always meshubed to your parents or to your in-laws. You can't make your own decisions in life. It's a terrible position to be in, and this is not what the Torah wants. The Torah wants people to earn money, to get a job, and even if you somehow manage to make it yourself and to run from gemach to gemach, because people are going to need money. A kol stipend will never cover. Even a small without 3,000 shekel a month is not going to cover you. Maybe you have to go, and even if you go to Yisachar Zvul in partnership with David Kahana, I interviewed, it's not going to help you. You need more money. The more kids you have, the way of the Haredi world is to have a lot of kids, and the more kids you have, the more money you need. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't work, the kol lifestyle. I'm telling you right here unequivocally, the kol lifestyle should not be encouraged. You have to get a job. You have to work. You have to enter that business world, and that's asiyah. Asiyah is when you enter the world and all the halachas become relevant. Dinei Mamanis, there's so many halachas of Choshen Mishpah that become relevant. You're working now. You have to decide how much you have to, what you provide for your wife. Providing for the halachas of ksuvos. What do you have to do for your wife? What do you have to provide for your wife? It can only really be accomplished when you get a job. I mean, it says it in ksuva. You have to. It says that you have to. Eflach, I'll work. It says you're going to work in the ksuva. So that's part of the Torah. Tokei atzmo l'dvar halacha really says, and some people say even in a more negative sense, tokim, who hates attachers. It sounds like parasites. I'm not going to go so far to say that, like Victor Lieberman, that all Haredim are parasites, because it's not necessarily true. They're not parasites. I mean, it's open for discussion. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, the word attacher sounds like that a little bit, but I'm not going to get into that. That is a much more derogatory way of referring to Haredi people, the Haredi lifestyle. I'm not going to get into that. It's a different discussion, but at the same time, it's just not the proper. And this is the Gemara very clear over here. The Gemara says very clear. You should avoid this at all costs. Okay, atzmo l'dvar halacha, and that's why it says l'dvar halacha. He says that's the worst thing, right? You're okay. I'm sitting and learning about halachas. You're learning about halachas. You're learning all of Choshen Mishpat, and you're never going to live a Choshen Mishpat life because you're not going to enter the business world and apply these things. That is the worst thing in the world. Ain't lo Torah. You don't even get schar for your limit Torah. The Torah is telling you. You think the whole purpose people do is to get schar, and you don't even get schar for it. So why is it worth it? Don't do it. That would be message today. I do have a Musar shir that I'm going to give. But this is not. I mean, this is partially a Musar shir. But we're talking about something else. See you in Mishnah Yomi.